dive into authentic conversations about ourselves and our community, exploring topics that uplift and inspire us. From personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation.
About Love and Marriage Huntsville, Martel was looking to bring Ariana into the fold of the show, right? He wants to bring her on into living with him on the show and being his fiance, I believe, and things like that. Okay, so are we opposed to Martel bringing Ariana on the show to be an active participant, an active show, stopper, a participant on the show, right? However have you, for his love interest. Because that is what she would be, right? She would be Martel's love interest, of course. She is the mistress. In case anybody's not familiar, Love and Marriage Huntsville, one of my favorite reality TV shows, not gonna hold you, would be, his new love interest, considering the fact that now him and Melody are completely divorced and co-parenting, right? They're divorcees, parents together of 4. Okay. And yeah, so he is, I'm seemingly believing, wanting to bring Ariane on, wanting the producers of the show, Mr. Carlos King, to bring on Ariane as his new love interest. What do you guys think about that? I don't care for Ariane in that nature. I think she's more than likely outside of her being the mistress of Martel Holt while he was married to Melody Holt, is a good person. However, what she did in, her area of looking for her own husband was a seemingly sought out Melody's husband, right? So as a woman of morals, a woman of character, integrity, we don't approve of women that do such acts. We know they happen every single day. Unfortunately, men are in some areas not as strong as they should be when it comes to how they protect the essence of marriage and the covenant of their family when they're married, right? So it happened, and here we are today. So let's jump right into the clip, y'all. We're going to bring up the clip from Love and Marriage Huntsville of Martel and his mother sitting down at a diner having a discussion about Martel bringing on Ariane as his new love interest. Okay, we're going to look at some clips. We're going to finish sipping that tea, and we're going to just jump on throughout the rest of the week with some Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I think I want to do some Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has been on fire, y'all. I still watch all the reality TV shows. It's just, my little guilty pleasure. I really like reality TV. My husband's like, you are just too much into reality TV shows, but I've always liked them since I've been watching them for like over a decade. So it is what it is. And so, yeah, we're going to keep it, cute and sipping this tea on the reality TV show. So let's get into it.
Thank you.
Yeah, what you been doing today?
Just got up, get myself together, run a few errands, you know.
Oh, yeah, you know my errands.
Your daily routine, honey.
And I ended with Maverick over there by the Arsenal.
And he doesn't grow up so much.
I'm telling you, they all.
Let me fix the audio.
Oh, just
Yeah.
Okay,
shooting up.
that's better.
Yeah.
You know, looking to move Ariane into the investment property.
So he's looking to move Ariane into an investment property, Martel says. Now, Martel says it's an investment property, but I'm more than likely believing that Martel already has Ariane somewhere set up in life where he is financially responsible for her. Okay, for her and their child that they had while he was married to Melody. Okay, because Ariane and Melody had a baby around the same time.
Okay. She gonna love it.
Because our little lease is up, and I said, there ain't no reason to put you somewhere else and me pay that.
Yeah, and then you just got that whole house sitting there. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that is your baby's money.
Yeah. I'm moving Ariane into the investment property because, you know, I own that property. And I feel there's no reason for me to pay bills at any other place. And I can't move her in with me until like a ring is on her finger. And was
So, I mean, okay. He owns this property, beautiful, right? And Ariane is looking to now, you know, congregate with Martel in this own property of Martel's. And I'm not sure of the legalities behind that, if there even should be some, because he's saying that, you know what I'm saying, she'll be a seemingly tenant. Okay, so however that may work, y'all can drop that down in the chat if you think that there would be like some legal ramifications that Martel may want to look into. I don't personally care for Martel, but if you care enough to want to drop any of the legalities that Martel may want to look out for while moving Ariane into a home that he claims that he owns, and, you know, essentially have her there as a tenant, because Martel claims that he wants to put a ring on Ariane's finger and make her an honest woman before she lives in a shared home with him, cohabitating as a couple. Now, what do y'all think about that, tea sippers? Let's take a moment to sip some tea on that, okay? I'm not too sure. I see the wine glasses shattering and breaking all around that type of situation. I don't believe that universally, as far as like, you know, how things move in the universe, that Martel should marry Ariane. I feel as if, because of the way things shift and move in the universe, him marrying Ariane is just going to be a contractual disaster as far as a covenant of marriage goes between him and Ariane, because of the simple, you know, saying, you lose them how you get them. Okay, he got her already married, right? Say, just for sake of saying, potentially another man that comes into the picture while she's now, you know, in a place where Melody was at that time when they were married, and they're on the upcline, right? Say for whatever reasons, one of them meets somebody that they feel now, because this has been the pattern of what they've shown in relationships, right? Their eye is now wandering off into another direction with somebody else. Well, there goes your wine glasses breaking, right? Okay, so it's like, do you really want to jump right directly straight back to a marriage with the mistress of the woman that essentially you sought out, that destroyed your perfect, nothing's perfect, but I believe that if anybody had a great covenant, on the show of Love and Hip Hop, on the surface of what we saw, that they had a good marriage, right? But there are talks of Melanie, and I'm going to talk about that on another show, because right now we're just talking about Martel and his mother and how she feels about Ariane over Melody as the wife to her son Martel. That Melody alleges that there were a DV that was committed behind the scenes on the show of Love and Marriage Huntsville, and she believes that people are believing that Carlos King, and I think she's saying this too, Carlos King and the directors, the Oprah Network, they knew that she was being domestic violence by Martel, being committed domestic violence against her, right? So, on the surface of what we saw when we first were introduced to Love and Marriage Huntsville and Martel and Melody, we were looking at what we thought to believe to be a almost perfect marriage. Okay, so we know things happen behind closed doors that we don't know about. What we know we saw on TV, right? That's what we were made to feel. Do you think, Sippers, that he will have the same, similar, it can come almost close to what he had with Melody with Ariane? Because I think that's what Martel wants to simulate as far as him with Ariane now, trying to put her in the position to win with him as him and Melanie were. Drop that in the chat.
It's better than to have my son and her moving into something that I built.
So you plan on marrying her one day? You thought about that?
Of course. I told you I want to get married again, so.
I know.
If she's that person, that's gonna be the person I marry. If she's that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ariane is the person, right? So if Ariane was the person, what he's saying, alluding to, is that Melody wasn't. Okay? Because when he was married to Melody, this is where we still see the bitterness in Martel. Because we know how Ariane got introduced into the picture for Melody and Martel to have the breakdown of their marriage, right? She was his mistress. So if Ariane is the person for Martel, he's saying now, through all of his bitterness, right, that Melody wasn't and Ariane was. I think that's a very bitter play, because we saw Ariane and Melody, I believe, pregnant at the same time by Martel. And Martel did not want to lose Melody while he had his cake and ice cream with Ariane at the same time. He really tried to fight for Melody to stay in the marriage with him while he had Ariane on the side. So how is Ariane the best fit for Martel if he's never shown that, you know, a woman was better than Melody? Never. Because even in the event of him being exposed with Ariane, he still was clinging to Melody. In every little fiber of his fabric that he could, he still tried to hang on to her.
You know, she's a good girl.
Yeah, just getting to know her, you know.
Ariane is not a good girl as far as when it comes to marriage and the covenant and the sacred bond that two people make between each other and go off and have a family together. That is not a good woman. A good woman is a woman that actually respects the covenant of someone else's family, even if she has strong feelings for the person that she's looking at. Knowing what they have back at home, she's going to subside her feelings for that married couple and respect their family and the vows that they took, and be good to herself and true to herself to go find herself a husband of her own, not a husband of a woman that already has been claimed. That's not a good woman.
She's a nice person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought it was gonna be a little bit more difficult.
Well, it took me a minute.
You did.
Well, you know how that go.
And we heard Miss Holt say, okay, that it took her a minute to chum up to Ariane. If we recall, Love and Marriage Huntsville fans, that she adored Melody. Okay, I really like how Martel's mother is neutral. However, she does let her understanding be heard as far as how she feels about her sons, about their wives, and so on, and their children and everything. But I really give Mrs. Holt all the respect as a mother, as a woman. I really feel that she gives complete genuineness, and I do definitely believe she's a big reason why Melody is somewhere still taking them on trips together. She still goes out with his mother. She has a great, wonderful working relationship with Martel's mom. I definitely wholeheartedly believe that is because she has given off such a sweet spirit about the entire situation. It's just unwavering how, empathetic and understanding and loving and caring Martel's mother is. Okay. I don't know why Martel doesn't have a lot of her, and just genuine goodness, but his mother is a very, very good woman. From what we're seeing on Love and Marriage Huntsville, she is such a sweet lady.
You have to adjust to new stuff.
Yeah.
Because,
I understand.
I love my family I had.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, sippers? Now, she loved her family she had, y'all. And that was with Martel and Melody and their beautiful kids. Their kids are so cute, right? That covenant that they were really the Jay-Z and Beyonce of reality TV. From, just the couples that were really, climbing and being successful. They definitely were a,
Y'all was my world.
couple that gave a blueprint of how you can be from what we saw. I'm not talking about behind the scenes right now, right? What we saw on Love and Marriage Huntsville, they were a strong fist. Okay, they were not fingers that were just lingering like, I'm going to go pick off the pinky finger, the pointer finger. No, okay? They made a mighty fist whenever they felt they needed to protect their family, their marriage, their business. Melody and Martel really they really embraced that, right? So I can see why his mother is saying what she preferred, over what he's doing now. However, we can't choose what our kids do in their life after they're grown and out on their own. No matter what, advice or heart we may have for whatever situation they have, they're ultimately going to make their own decisions, right? So, yeah.
And then, that incident happened. So, and I had to adjust.
Okay, Grandma calls it an incident. Not a moment, that he had. And it was one time. Because some women can accept one time in a relationship where there's infidelity. Hell, you may have even slipped up and got her pregnant. Some women can, have you have a family here and a family there and still love you and work with you and, in understanding you're a man and you're going to do some of the things that we wouldn't want a man to do in a marriage, but you do. Okay. But Martel continued to flaunt and embarrass his family on television and the internet So Melody divorced his ass, rightfully so. Because remember, Melody was pregnant when Ariane was pregnant by Martel, right? So from me seeing that aspect of their relationships, I see Melody accepting Martel to an extent enough to also be pregnant by him while Ariane was too.
To that new thing with you, with her,
Yeah.
But it took me a while to adjust. So
Yeah. And I appreciate it, but I know at one point you told me that you weren't going.
Because Ariane remember the interview and some of the clips we've watched of Ariane. We'll get into a little bit of those because me and my daughter are going to go out and have a mother-daughter day. I'm going to do her nails, take her get a bite to eat, maybe a doll, and just talk to her. Life is lifing, and my daughter is a special needs child. She's autistic, and so life life is not always kind to those that are different. And so she unfortunately experienced a moment in her life, an incident in her life that was not favorable for her. And so, of course, being the mother bear lioness that I am, I immediately took action and ended it. And, making sure that her future journey is, what it should be. And so that's what we're doing, sippers. Just pray for us. And thank you guys all so much for showing love and support. She really greatly appreciates it. Every day she's getting back to herself and just stronger and, being the lovely little girl that my daughter is. So please continue to pray for the Sipper family. All right.
Going to adjust.
I know because I was upset.
Yeah.
They're my family.
My mom, she was extremely hurt.
You heard her. You heard Miss Holt. She was extremely upset. You seen her face? And when her face gets like in her angry face, she's still so sweet. Martel has the sweetest mother. And I feel like that is Melody's blessing from because Martel is a motherfucker from what we've come to see. And I think Melody's trade-off is his mother and their children. Their children are great. Like, they got great kids. Melody could be on her live talking. Her kids will be behind her doing their thing. She'd be having them doing projects. They're never somewhere swinging from chandeliers. Like, she has wonderful children. And may they always be blessed all the rest of their days. So his mother's face was just angry. She was just mad, right? She's like, like, I had to adjust. Like, that was my family. And it still is. I see Melody still, taking them on trips. She take his mama and him on a trip with all their kids and all that great stuff. And mother was there. I believe Melody paid for it. Okay, like Martel, no, he ain't finna get into that from Ariane. Ariane ain't finna do none of that. First of all, Ariane, I'm gonna get to that. Okay, let me finish, because I gotta stay on topic, right? On thought, right? So his mother's not happy, y'all. Because remember, I was like, we're gonna talk about, because I really just wanted to know, because I've seen how loving and just enduring and everything she's been to Melody. Like that, I just wholeheartedly embrace that for myself as a woman. To, even though our sons come from our loins and our womb, we are still women. And when you're a woman that's in a covenant with a man and they break down the value of, the fabrics of y'all's life in such a manner, imagine the breakdown in the woman that's covenanting with your son and also having children. As a woman, take that in, ladies. A lot of us are out here hateful, evil, disgusting, busted, and can't be trusted. Martel's mother is a great example of what it looks like to have extended care for someone that's not your child, but that has, you know, involved their life with your child's life, and your child not be the right, you know, one in the relationship and cause the problem. Okay, yeah, that's what had happened. And to see his mother embrace Melody and love her wholeheartedly and saw what her son did to her, it just made me warm inside. Like I just felt like I had a pumpkin pie with some cider. Mm.
When she knew that me and my ex-wife were getting divorced, I mean, she cried. You know, we had many conversations about me getting it right. I understand because just like I thought.
So, do you guys believe that the conversation that Martel is having with his mother of him getting it right, do you think that it led to him now marrying Ariane? Or do you think his mother, this is what, I'm going to tell you what I think after I ask y'all this question. Do you think his mother probably asked him to go back on his knees and beg Melody's forgiveness and make it right with Melody and his family with her? Or do you think she told him to now marry Ariane and make it right with Ariane and make Ariane a woman of decency by marrying her because they already had a baby out of wedlock while he was married to somebody else? What do you think, chat? And remember, when you come into the room, tea sippers, thank you all so much, because I've been handling my business, but I'm so thankful that you guys are here. Hi, lovely Libra. Hi. Please, as you come in, become a sipper. Okay. Remember to like and subscribe and follow. Do you think that Martel's mother asked him to go back and beg Melody's forgiveness? Or do you think she asked him to make Ariane a maid woman and add her in her rightful place in their family? What do you think, sippers? I'm going to answer what I think here in a second.
Gonna be forever. And she know, just like anybody else know, that some things come to an end. I mean, to this day, she's still affected by it. No, I'm affected.
And yes, things do come to an end. How do things come to an end, sippers? How do marriages end? It's not some force that just comes in and makes us. Okay, this isn't a movie. This isn't like a spirit demon came in to Martel and made Martel cheat on Melody and have an outside baby with a side chick. Okay, how do relationships end? We, the people, in them. We are the driving, deciding forces that end shit in life. We do. So you had a choice, Martel, and the choice you made was to end your marriage with Melody by taking Melody through hell with Ariane and the new child that you and Ariane have together. Yes, you did, buddy.
By it. My kids affected by it. It's tough, but one thing about it, you know, life must go on.
But I'm still getting to know her, though, you know?
Yeah. You know, a lot of people look at that like...
And that's another thing where, you know, I don't know what this rise of the destruction of women is coming from the men. Martel should be kissing Melody's ass, her big toe, as she sticks it in cow dung. Okay, and be like, kiss my big toe. Because the only reason why his children are as strong as they are and as accepting and caring and empathetic and loving for Martel and Ariane's child is because of Melody. If Melody was planting a seed in her children to hate their father and hate Ariane and hate their child that they have together outside of the marriage that Martel had with Melody and her children, they would hate them. They would give Martel hell every single time he was with their children. The only reason why their children are as they are, thriving and still moving forward in the progressive life that Melody and Martel once had for them, and Melody and Martel co-parentingly are still making that happen, is because Melody is at the head of making sure that their children don't hate Martel for the reason of the breakdown between their family dynamic. Okay, let's keep sipping this tea. If you feel me, drop them teacups in the chat. We are live this Wednesday morning on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Martel and his mother discussing Ariane and Melody. Who should he, have stayed with? Who should he marry Ariane? And how does his mother feel overall? Drop your thoughts in the chat. Drop that tea in the chat.
Like Ariane, like she came in and like really kind of just like destroy what we had or whatever.
Ariane did not. Did you just hear him blame Ariane? Ariane did not seek Martel. Ariane was in the space of life wherever she was, and Martel sought her. How? Even if Ariane and Martel were in the same room together and Ariane approached him, Martel has the responsibility of a married man to tell Ariane no. To tell Ariane as to go on. I am a married man. I'm flattered. However, I'm very happily satisfied with what I have at home in my marriage with my wife and my children. Excuse me. Oh, okay. How did Ariane come in to Martel and Melody's marriage and destroy it? She couldn't have had an access through any way unless Martel invited her.
It like that, but I know you looked at it like that at one point too, because I would say that it's.
And as much as I see, y'all gotta listen in closely to Martel because he does a lot of double fast talking. Okay, now he's saying that his mother also looked at it like Ariane came into the relationship and destroyed Martel and Melody's relationship. She may feel that way, however. Every woman that knows, who and how, a marriage can work and not work, it can only work if both people inside the marriage are making it work. Martel decided to not make his marriage work anymore with Melody by cheating on her and committing infidelity with Ariane. So there is no initial blame at all on Ariane. Ariane should have been rejected whenever him and her were in the space to talk about them two having an affair. That didn't happen because Martel, the married man, pursued it.
I said, there ain't another woman.
Yeah.
She's not taking me away. It's more of, this is what I'm.
She sure did not take you away from Melody. You left Melody. You left Melody the moment you decided to open up your mouth and tell Ariane you will entertain Ariane intimately outside of the marriage that you covenanted with Melody, to only lay down with the married woman that you vowed to only give your body to. Yeah. No, Ariane didn't take you from Melody. You left Melody. And I know you looking at Melody like, damn, how can I leave her? but you did. You're a dummy, Martel.
I'm doing,
Yeah.
you know? So I don't look at it as Ariana coming in destroying anything.
No.
Of course,
You
you're
know,
not looking at it like that. But I bet you, y'all, because I'm telling you, I get vibes. I pick up energy off of people. I'm very, very great at receiving energy and understanding it and then explaining it, right? I get vibes from Martel that Martel is somewhere giving Ariane the business behind him now having to be left to deal with Ariane, you know, without, because I'm thinking Martel probably thought Melody was going to hang in there. And then he would, you know, navigate dealing with the baby he had with Ariane, with Melody, you know, also spearheading this relationship dynamic. But now he's left on his own to deal with whatever him and Ariane are going to navigate and journey down through there in life, you know, as now them being parents to a child together. I think that, you know, he probably thought that Melody was going to help him understand how he does that. So he's in the background, probably somewhere dealing with Ariane with regret and resentment.
Ariana's relationship, you know, I guess it's changed over the years or whatnot. You know, she's been over for dinners and things like that, and you kind of welcome her in with open arms.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happened in the
Right,
past. So I really do appreciate that. And she's thankful too.
Because
It don't
what's
make her
been
feel
done, you
uncomfortable,
can't
know?
undo. Right.
Yeah.
Whatever,
you know?
whatever make you happy.
And I appreciate that.
Yes.
I just don't want to take no more steps back.
Right. Gotta move forward.
Like even with Ariana, you know, I'm still.
So do you guys think that Martel is taking a step back as far as Ariane versus Melody? So let's ask that question. Lovely Libra, let's read some of the chats, y'all. Says, no, I think she told him get his ish together and take care of his kids. Right. I don't think she'll fully ever accept Ariane, says Lovely Libra. She'll just tolerate because that's who her son is with. And there's right. Yes. Right. She like, you know, we don't have no choice. Our kids are going to ultimately make the decision for their lives of however they're going to navigate journey, you know, do what they do, live how they live, be with who they want to be with, and navigate however that comes out for them. Right. So, you know, she don't have no choice. That's her son. But we like determined who we think she prefers. I'm gonna you know, spill my tea. I believe she prefers Melody. She preferred the family with Melody. I believe that's what I hear her saying vaguely, you know, without saying Melody's name. I think that that's, you know, what she's given. So is Ariane the better choice? Is she the better woman in the dynamic of you know, spaces where Melody is? Remember, Melody established a whole construction. Please don't get me to trying to understand exactly what all the comeback business was in construction, because babies, I've never worked in like construction in that way, sippers. I've done very small areas of construction, things like that, like getting down to the crooks of understanding it. I'm not the person for all of that, right? However, we saw Melody in that world excel to where she was getting deals and contracts and things, certifications in the construction field where Martel was not, right? So that was also getting him frustrated and aggravated. Like, work with me, you know, make it look like I have these accolades and you're just assisting me. And Melody was like, I'm not falling to the back. I've worked hard to, you know, show that I have acquired these levels of education, certification, and things like that in the construction field. And I'm standing on the forefront with your bald-headed ass, right? And I thought that was so cute. Is Ariane the woman now in Martel's life to also stand in those spaces and places and demand and command the respect of what Melody did with Martel's headed ass. What do y'all think, y'all? What do y'all think? Drop that down in the chat. Let's wrap up Martel and his mother on Ariane versus Melody.
I want to make sure that she's the one that I want to
Right.
do the
Just take
favor
your
with,
time.
you know?
Yeah. Just take your time. And like that, make sure. I mean, doing all that if you ain't sure.
I don't want to take my time too much. I just need to make sure that
Do y'all think he's taking his time? Let's drop that down in the chat. Do y'all think he is taking time to marry Ariane? He's already talking about it. I mean, but also take into consideration, I'm going to give Ariane a very small amount of grace here. They have been dating for how long? I heard in the interview that he did with the alleged side chick of Marceau and them, that Marceau and Maurice, that it's been like over a decade since he's been fucking with Ariane. Now, I don't know. But drop that in the chat. If y'all know how long he's been with Ariane, drop that down in the chat, y'all. So, lovely Libra, welcome. Please become a sipper. You are very well wanted here in the tea room with Tanisha Talks Teas. Lovely Libra, I think she prefers Mel over Ariane. It's what's familiar. Maybe Ariane might had a chance had she came in. Exactly. Thank you. That's why I'm like, if the marriage had already dissolved, a lovely Libra says she's collateral damage. If the marriage had already dissolved, y'all, then, you know what I'm saying? We can understand him moving on, taking his time to see where and how he wanted to land with another woman, whether it be, you know, dating, transactional, situational, or marriage, right? He's talking about marrying Ariane now. Do y'all think it's too soon? I do. I don't want to hear this taking our time shit. How long has his and Melanie's divorce been finalized? Let's look that up. I got a little bit of time because me and my daughter aren't going out till this afternoon. I got a little bit of time. So let me see, y'all. How long has Melody Holt and Martel been divorced? Oh my, is this real tea? Madame Noor, I don't know if this is real tea, y'all. But she says, it's okay. This was in 2021. So they've been divorced a few years now. 4 years. That's long. That's time. That's almost half a decade. Okay. I thought maybe they had just recently got divorced like 2023 or something like that. But Madame Noor published on March 20th of 2021 that it's officially over between Martel and Melody Holt, according to court papers obtained exclusively by our sister site.
Thanks for watching. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing. It's a blessing. Keep your teacups filled and ready for my next upload. Until then, stay inspired and remember, always stay sipping.